And here we go. Over there on the other side of the big pond is my friend Rish.
Back over there in the ancestral homeland is Roland. My ancestral homeland, not his.
No, I am what do we call it? An immigrant, an expatriate. If they are professionals, if they are white collar, they are expatriates, right?
Yeah, but before we were expatriates of the British Empire, we were Scottish. My
Yeah.
family was. Before
Well,
that boat trip, it was a boat. We're about 5 generations deep.
well, I mean, here goes, and to continue our conversation of last week, ask an American, um, a bit controversial. Why are all of you Yanks so dumb? And
One,
I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain for all the for all the viewers. It is a typical European stereotype that Americans very often don't know what the heck they're talking about, and that especially when they don't know anything about the subject, they are very, very vocal and convincing. So, and I want to go into the direction about the American education system and Rish, your thoughts and ideas, and yeah, a little bit of evidence that no, it's not Americans that are this dumb.
well, first we're going to start with a different kind of education. So, um, asking Americans something that you did that you didn't even realize you just did. What you just did will get your ass beat in America, in the South. Calling, that's the thing, when Americans go abroad, we're referred to as Yanks and stuff like that. If you call someone from the South a Yank, that's short for Yankee. That's to most Southerners, that's extremely disrespectful. It's immediate, like hands on sight. Like it's the same as if I called your mom a bitch. Like it'll just pretty much if you screw up, like if we know you're not from here and you don't mean anything by it, it's one thing. But if you just hear, "Oh, fuck you, Yankee," yeah, pretty much next it's getting punched in the face. So just results will vary. International viewers, Southerners will back me up. This is something that we will hit you
And
over if
in
you come
in in
here.
my defense, I obviously do know the difference
I
between
know.
North and South America, North and South of the U.S.
Yeah, but you like to push buttons. All right, so our
Obviously.
educational system. Well, okay, we're leaving the shootings out of it, right? We already kind of covered that.
Yeah, let's just assume the American education system works as intended, and
So no more bomb threats, no more
nothing
gun.
like
Okay.
nothing of the sort.
All right.
Just like from my perspective, and saying, why do Europeans get this kind of impression that Americans are not the brightest bulb in the chandelier?
Oh, that's simple. That's really so our education system is great. I in the smaller areas, you only have two schools. So I had three, and what that is I went to a elementary school, which is kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Then I went to a middle school, which was grade sixth, seventh, and eighth. Hey everybody, I'm dog. This is my dog. He's part of the interview today. So and then I went to high school, which is ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Once you pass there, you're no longer required to go to school by the state. You can actually withdraw earlier, but with stipulation. So I liked that I was in a town big enough where there was three schools. In the smaller towns where there's only enough, they do K to 7 and then 8 to 12. So I liked that we were more broke up by age groups. So it just helped with maturity levels and everybody's kind of going to puberty at the same time. So middle school's here really weird because that's when all our boys and girls are reaching the age of puberty. So those places are full of weird smells, but it's a good system, and we have a robust community college system, state colleges, universities. And then, we have great trade schools, which I wish were promoted as much as the college are, and I wish they also had the same economic um, like benefits to doing them. They do after the fact, but you can get all these grants to go to college, but you can't get these grants to go to trade school. Well, if you can get the money or borrow money, beg, borrow, steal the money to go to trade school, when you get out, you're set because the trades are doing great in America. It's some of the upper levels of education. People are getting out of college with a 4-year degree, and they're going to be a barista at Starbucks because that's the jobs. And a lot of it is the changing landscape of education. A lot of the jobs that especially people with master's degrees, and God forbid you took a gap year in between high school or in between your bachelor's and your master's, and you're 7 years into this after the fact, because a lot of the degrees, the jobs for these degrees that they were beating down doors, please come here. It's 6, 7 years later, those jobs aren't here anymore. COVID's already happened, but our educational system, they're retooling. So I'm a big fan of our educational system. The reason why other people, other nations sometimes don't think that we have a great educational system is because this is this is 2023 all across the globe. I mean, use your regular calendar. If you have the Chinese calendar, any other calendar, use it. But in this modern day and age, in the Western year 2023, entertainment seems to have been king. It's stupid. Well, we have a lot of disposable income in America, and we all have smartphones, which is cameras in our pockets. And everyone across the globe wants to watch the loudest, dumbest American person. Like, we don't all slam 23 burritos from Taco Bell and see if we can chug a half gallon of vodka and then see if we can hit a home run, for a challenge video. We're not all doing that. Those are the idiots that y'all watch. That's who you're choosing to watch, the idiots. Go look if you want to see products of American educational system, go watch a lecture. If you can't go to the building, go watch lectures from Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay? He went to school here. I mean, Carl Sagan, like, look, there is tons of these super educated, I mean, Mensa geniuses. These are the Mensa guys out of the Mensa group. They're incredible. They're all American. If they weren't American, they got here as soon as they could for the most part. And if we ever lose that, because right now we have unlimited first round draft picks. And what I mean is, if we want you to come to our country, we can get you here because the opportunities are better. If we ever lose that, then we can't pick up this talent. Then that would actually hurt our education, because bringing in these really smart people from other places to supplement our educational system and to give it makes it more robust. Whenever you bring in people who were taught outside of America but have very good, world-class educations, and you bring them into our system becomes more robust if we listen to how they were taught, how they responded, and how things are going in other countries. I'm a big fan of, let's find out what these huge population centers, which are pushing out college graduates, let's find out what they're learning, let's find out how they're learning. So I love to see this immigration coming to America. But if we lose that, we're screwed, because our education system used to be the best, but our primary schools, well, I'm a fan of them. I, they need a lot of work. We're no longer number one in any category. I think we're only top three in maybe one category. But basically, we're not the first in science. We're not the first in math. We're just not anymore. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but that goes to, if we ever lose that, well, if we really need somebody, we can bring somebody in and they can train other Americans how to do it, even if you can't learn it in our educational system. After we teach you, because in America we teach you how to learn, so we teach you how to learn. So when you get to, we have OJT, which is on job training. Once you get to your job, if your educators did their proper job, you will be able to learn in any environment, whether you have a background in that environment or not. You'll find common ground, singularity. You'll be able to learn the job with proper teaching. So I would love to see the continuation of teaching people how to learn, but I would also like to see that translate to some test scores, But Elon Musk isn't building rockets in Johannesburg, okay? It's just not. Sorry.
I mean, there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of truth in it, and part of what I was getting at. First of all, certainly it's entertainment, and I also think a lot of that stuff is really staged. Yeah. So spoiler
Reality
alert.
TV is not real. If you want to
No.
ask American that every show on TV has a script except for Cops. Cops has a script. They tell the guy after Cuffs that they'll give him a break if he sticks to it. Hey man, we need you to act a little crazy. Hey man, we need you to lay down. Hey, play drunk. Even that show has a script. It's just given last minute.
Yeah. Now, what I was looking at. Certainly, we are looking at something for entertainment value. And another thing I want to go in actually is this dumbness is not an American issue. It is a global issue. And I say that having been professional in education for professionally for 6 years, semi-professionally for 15. Yeah. And I am literally looking at the fact that increasingly you have to tell people very, very small steps that perhaps older people, like, I mean, I'm in my 40s, yeah, that I was just take as a given. And
Mhm.
every time I design a learning session, yeah, whatever it is, I start to think as, yeah, this is how you would understand it. But I need to break it down into something where I say, okay, what is literally the worst possible learner that I could be encountering in this situation? And another spoiler alert, there is always somebody in your class that is not even reaching that level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're teaching globally, there is additional factors in there. So um, different education system, different culture, different learning styles. Yeah. So, but what I'm looking at, and I like what you said about we teach people how to learn, how to think, and a lot of that has, in my opinion, been lost not only in the US but globally. And we are telling people what to think. You know, the thing that we've been going on about the news.
Yeah.
But if you have a solid methods training, and if you strictly follow Aristotelian or what's the guy's name? Newtonian logic, yeah, Newtonian logic, essentially. A follows of the B because, yeah, and if you
Cause and
understand
effect.
the because, yes, cause and effect, in very simple terms. Um, if you're looking at that, why is this issue so compounding? It is,
I can point out an exact point that will evaporate in the 30s. Cars came with the owner's manual and told you how to tune
yeah,
the valves. And nowadays, it tells you not to drink the battery acid.
yeah. And look at it from the point of it is actually needed. That is the worst part.
No,
And
it's
what
there
I'm what
because
I'm
someone
thinking,
died.
yeah, what I'm thinking is how this became a global issue. It is, let's just say, you have this one scripted show where somebody says something dumb or does something dumb. This goes across all social media. Everybody sees it, and hey, this is funny. This is cool. Yeah,
Oh,
and we are looking at the media behavior of people. Is we are no longer accessing and processing information, we are consuming it. Like you are, how to say, you are coming from one point, and I think I lost my plot right now. But what I'm trying to say is this kind of thing is spreading, yeah,
Yep.
and the media competence, the information competence of people is simply no longer there because even at a young age, I see people, I see young kids of primary school age, yeah, 4, 5, 6 years old, yeah, and they run around with their smartphones, they run around with their TikTok, which they shouldn't have,
No,
and um,
might not be there.
something I just read. I think the state of Utah just passed the law that people under 18 are are not cannot legally access social media unless their parents or guardians approve of these actions. I mean, how are you going to enforce that? Yeah, and
Mormons,
yeah, but how are you going to enforce it on the standard Tom, Dick,
Mormon
and Harry?
parents.
Yeah.
It
So,
only
but
works for Mormons.
it won't work for people
They
like you,
they
me,
got it
and so
pat.
on.
They got that bill passed. They're already enforcing it in their households. You got to get mainstream. I mean,
I think
Mormons are
before I
just a
throw something
very
else,
very strict people.
that's where I'm getting at. So well, perhaps this opens another avenue that
But their kids don't need a law. Their kids are already,
well, when you look
respect
at
your mom and dad.
a different population in the U.S., the Amish, yeah.
Yep.
And when you look at, for example, Ashkenazi Jews, highly intelligent people, yeah. When you look at people that are strictly religious, not jobs, just strictly religious, following a code of process, if you want, yeah, if you want to go away from religion, yeah, logical people, they are not only doing very well for themselves, career-wise, and so on and so forth. They are also producing children or offspring that are set up for this kind of system where the input obviously matters, yeah, and then you add input via the educational system, and boom, voila, you have the 2% level of geniuses that you need to run a bloody modern country, yeah. So and speaking of matter of input, this is where I wanted to go, is why are not only the American education system. I could have a long litany about the British and the German education system, about the Chinese education system, the Japanese one. I have seen them all. Yeah, and really, the kind of thing is every education system has its advantages, has its disadvantages, and the products in terms of children or young adults that it churns out have certain qualities, certain skills. On average, not everyone, yeah.
And in the
So
case of Far East Asia, xenophobia.
one of the things, well, that you mentioned it. One of the conversations I had when I was teaching in China is well, the whole conversation is too long. Basically, I was running circles around a vice president of a university who was talking bullshit in
Hmm.
at the end of the day. And the underlying thing was he wanted to punish me. Yeah. And after I had proven I have done nothing wrong, yeah, which I shouldn't even have to prove, he still went ahead, and we had this conversation. So, and it culminated in two things. My criteria for assessing people, for giving grades to people, were not adequate, so to speak. Yeah. And I said, well, you mean those criteria that I copied from the homepage that is under your authority? Yeah, it's one to one the same thing. So bullshit again. And he was like, oh well, our Chinese students can't do that.
Then
First
send
of
them
all,
back to high school.
that is one thing. So if you are a Chinese student and you can't do X, Y, Z after you have been trained for X amount of time in that system. Yeah, we were British system, they were Chinese system, but this is not a first year. First year, this is how I tie my
Oh,
shoelaces.
we already solved that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
we teach them how to retread tires.
yeah. So
Yeah, after about the
the
third time you can't do your job, we find something that, hey, We got a lot of silt fence needs to get put up.
So look at it from this point of view. My actual well, let me finish that thought. Number one, send them back and train them. Yeah, in terms of education, you fail that class, you do it again. Yeah. So the other thing is how pretentious, self-righteous, and quite frankly, a effing moron do you have to be to assert that a certain nationality cannot do X, Y, Z because you say so? Because my answer was a list of my Chinese students at the same bloody university that not only can do what he says Chinese people can't do, yeah, they absolutely fucking rocked it. And the
They're
only
doing great
difference,
here in America.
yeah, the only difference was every single bloody student that went ahead with the program that I was giving them. This is what you do. This is why you do it. This is going to be the outcome. Yeah. Everyone who went along with it did not complain to bloody Chairman Xi Jinping in Beijing. Yeah. This is how this stuff works in China, but went along, did very, very well. And when I look at the list of those people just on top of my head, where did they go for their master degrees?
England.
Columbia in the US, Warwick in the UK, London School of bloody economics. Yeah. It is literally the top universities in the world where those people went to. So I must have done something right. And
I
this is
didn't
not
hear
really.
Yale, Harvard, Cambridge, or Oxford.
Well, first of all, they didn't have that kind of training that these students wanted to go for. So one student basically had the one that went to LSE. He had 3 offers, 2 in his actual field accounting, and 1 from LSE for actually economics. Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
he
they
chose
wanted econ
economics.
units.
So he chose economics because the scholarship was the package was way better. Yeah,
Hey, doesn't
all of these
Northwestern have a
students.
really good econ program?
It really depends
Sidebar.
on where you're going. For for economics, for example, I would
Well,
choose
I mean, you said
LSE.
Columbia. Columbia is a great school.
Columbia is a great school, for example, for teacher training. Yeah, that's what that student did, and now that student is working for the bloody UN in New York.
I think he's doing fine. Or she.
Another student that I tutored way earlier is now working for the World Bank.
Yeah, they don't hire anyone. You
Yep.
normally got to be a little sharp for that.
And literally, and no offense to the person if they are watching, the worst of my students is the bloody statistician maker at a construction company, at a naval construction company. And he is now, let me just flip that over,
That's the runt
24,
of the litter.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So, and
crazy.
that
That's
that is the worst. That is the worst if you want to compare the kind of level and standing these people have. Yeah. And he's doing that is a male student. He is doing very, very, very well for himself. He's basically nothing works in that shipyard without him saying yay or nay. Yeah.
dang.
So and that is where I say, hot damn. Yeah. I have been around some really, really smart people. And another of my students, that the really, really great Dutch guy, is basically just waiting until some university says we are paying you to do your PhD here. That's all he's waiting for, because career-wise, he's done. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done. He's working for an engineering company in sustainable energy. So
Okay.
really, but the question I was before we went off again, why, in the name of all that we believe in, do we no longer produce this top end quality on a consistent basis? Or are we just too critical about it?
Not sure. I think in regards to America, it's very simple to understand why we are not top one, top three, top five, and almost anything academic related any longer, and that's because we changed our curriculum to the lowest common denominator in the effort to get everyone to pass. We, instead of understanding that some people will fail and accepting that and coming up with what to do for the people who fail at academics but yet could be very well inclined for a different type of profession that's just as useful to society. Instead, we tried to force everyone to be an academic and we graded them as such. We didn't grade anyone off of how well they could tighten a plumbing fitting. We didn't grade anyone based off of how a 7018 weld that they did looked. We tried to make everyone into this one little box. And then when it didn't work, to make that box work, we changed the hole to the box so that anything could get through. And whenever you have a quality product, the more you dilute the product, the more it's perpetuating in its cycle. Because then after 20 years, you now have diluted teachers. So from a student,
Exactly.
from someone who was just born, the education system now, they go through it 20 years later. When they're 22, they could be a teacher. That's after your 4-year degree. But they went through a diluted system. Now they're a diluted
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
So now they're teaching a diluted version of the dilution.
Yeah.
And then you get to university, and the respectable universities say, we don't, there, this isn't, a spaghetti strainer in the ocean trying to stop the water. No, here there are hard boundaries. There are pass fail. It's not a grade of 0
Look,
to 100. I love pass fail grades. Pass fail. It's not 100. It's not a scale to 100. It's a scale to 1. It's binary. It's 0 or 1. You're good. You're not. And they get this, and then they start crying, and they start accusing the universities, of
of
racism,
everything.
religion,
Look,
anything that they could do.
I've been there, and it hits so many buttons.
You rejected me because I'm allergic to peanuts.
Yeah, it's uh, it's
So that's how we got here, in my
you know
opinion.
what why this resonates so much with me is on a more generalized level. As soon as you start prioritizing an agenda over the hard facts of life, essentially, yeah. So one smart thing I heard, maybe our schools and universities have done away with winners and losers. Yeah, everybody gets a pass, no matter how crap they are, but life has not. And one of the lessons I gave my students, whether they were undergraduates or postgraduates, is I did two things, and I said, in here you can make as many mistakes as you want to. You have the time to correct them. No matter how much effort if you put your effort in just complaining your way through, at some point it will work. And yeah, maybe even you get me fired. I'd go to another university. But if I was your boss and you can't perform to the levels I have set, I'm firing you. You're not coming back. The worst case scenario for me as an employer or for an employer as such is I have to pay some money to get rid of you. And as soon as that money is less than the damage I have by keeping you, yeah, just
Mhm.
economic facts.
Well, it's, do I
And
want to
that's
fire
just it.
you and put myself in a bind, or do I want to keep you around and I
And get myself.
stay in a bind?
And that is the point. As soon as we start prioritizing that over really the hard facts of life, yeah, as you said, some people are not cut out to be. I don't know. Let's stay with economics. You're not supposed to be an economist. You have absolutely no talent for that, and that
I would
is
fail
okay.
terribly. I would
Yeah.
fail terribly at economics.
Look, I am an absolute nerd that loves this kind of stuff, but it really comes to a point where I say, okay, this level is enough for me. Yeah, and I like other things better. But the point is, if you are not lucky enough that the things that you like are the things that you are good at, you have to grow up and deal with that fact. That is what it is. Yeah. I mean, here in Europe, a lot of kids want to be
There's a couple
professional
of
football
quotes
players.
that would support that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But look at it from this point of view.
I go
You
down the list.
let's say you want to be a professional basketball player.
Mhm.
Unless you are Maxi Books with your kind of height, no fucking way.
Yeah.
End.
Well,
Yeah.
Muggsy
And
was
this
actually half a foot shorter than me. That just shows how bad of a man he was.
he was fucking badass. And look, this is
Because
this is the kind of thing we're
I'm
saying.
6'2". He
Yeah,
was half a foot shorter than me.
you are absolutely one of the shortest guys in the NBA with that
Yeah,
height.
but Muggsy
Yeah,
was like, I think he was five
yeah,
seven, 5'6".
yeah. 5'7", 5'7".
Yeah.
If I remember it right, and I
Couldn't he
remember I
dunk?
saw he what?
Unguarded, I believe he could dunk.
So I
If
I
he was
just
not guarded.
remember
Yeah.
I just remember I saw a game. I don't know what game it was. What obviously is basketball, and I see this kid running around, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I was looking at no, this is not a kid they are letting play for fun. This is not a charity game or something. This
No,
is
he's
a real
23.
NBA. Yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
he's
He is.
23.
Oh, and he is not only he's a professional basketballer, and he was bloody good. So
Yeah,
you know what they
probably
we have.
rich.
Yeah, I mean we have a similar saying in Western countries in Germany, for example. Um, in German football, yeah, even a League Three or an amateur player is so much better than you and I, hobby players, yeah, that they could use a basketball and dribble around us. We would get our legs in a knot, yeah, and that is the difference between being really good at something, having the talent and the dedication to use it, yeah. Fun fact: I know a football player that is way more talented than Cristiano Ronaldo ever was, and the reason why, even if I would throw out the name, no one would know him, is because instead of practicing and going to bed early, he and I were drinking. So
Well,
partly it's my fault.
Ronaldo, part of what makes Ronaldo Ronaldo is, he's willing to do, what is it, like he does 1,000 setups a day minimum or something. I mean, the
Yeah,
dude is
he's a machine.
dedicated. He doesn't
He is a
drink,
machine.
smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have that dedication, all the talent you may have is going to waste. The other side is if you do not have at least some inclination to the given field you want to go into, yeah, it will be 10, 20, 100 times harder for you to get there with just dedication and practice. Yeah. So this morning I listened to a podcast of Jocko Willing talking about leadership,
Yeah,
and
Jocko talks a lot about extreme accountability. That was his big claim to fame on his books. That's his
there's
motto.
there's a couple of stuff where that really like, well, yeah, dude has point. Yeah. And he's talking about leadership in the SEAL teams. And one of the things is, you can have a smart person, and if that person is not humble enough to be, yeah, to realize, well, right now I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I don't have what it takes to make the call. Yeah. Um, the SEALs actually, this is from another guy, not from Jocko, a guy that has been an advisor or in organization for the SEALs. And he was asking the SEALs a very crucial question. Well, how do you get the guys that you take, who becomes a Navy SEAL? And they said, well, there's basically a matrix of two variables that they simplified, yeah, and that is performance and trust. So if
Oh,
you have
I've
you've
I've
seen that
seen,
one,
yeah, I've seen the clip. Yeah.
I think that literally describes when you're looking at very extreme situations like the SEALs put themselves or are being put into, yeah, is if you do not 100% can blindly trust and know what the person left and right of you is doing, yeah, you are fucked as a team, basically.
Yeah,
And this,
they had the little group, and they were saying like
yeah,
this guy will eliminate every single target all the time. He'll take a bullet for you, but he'll also sleep with your wife.
Yeah.
And they were just
So
showing, they were just pointing out just these crazy things. And yeah, they had that scale. No, I've seen it. I wish I could
yeah.
remember who put that out. We could put a link to it. That it was
Ah,
good stuff. It was good stuff.
it's really it's. I have seen a couple. I've seen a couple of this guy's videos, and what
He's
he says
giving you
makes a
enough,
lot of sense.
guys. Just Google it from there. We
Yeah.
watch a lot of stuff.
I mean, this is another thing. What you are going into watching information, but you and I, we can also process it. Yeah, we
Mhm.
are possibly much less prone to stupid stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
that's
if
another.
if I hear many inconsistencies, not only I'm putting it in the comments, okay, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got this wrong. When I see you next time, you're not getting a click or you're less likely. If I've had 3 bad videos from you, I'm not watching no more.
I mean, this is to round this up. Unfortunately, this kind of agenda thinking and pushing agenda is has led to a situation where, well, I don't like what you're saying, so I'm not listening and I'm not doing it. In fact, I will deliberately do the opposite. Yeah,
Well, see, that's one thing. See, that's not good. But stopping giving someone a platform or a mouthpiece or stopping listening to someone's channel because they're consistently wrong and you know they're giving bad information. I
that's
feel like
different.
stuff like that, you got to call it out. Like, hey, no, you're getting it wrong, dude.
But this is two different things, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, totally different subject now. But I did want to have a conversation
As
with
always.
this. Yeah, I did want to have a conversation with you about this because I don't know how far can I push myself verbally, but per per person and per thousand people and per in total numbers, the United States has the largest prison population in the world. I mean,
Oh yeah.
let's take away people that don't even know that they're in a prison. Yeah, we are not pointing at any country at this moment in time, but let's just look at the official statistics, and that says the U.S. has the largest prison population per capita as well as in absolute
Oh,
terms.
by far.
Another
It's
fun,
not even
another
close.
not
It's not
not
even
even
close.
close. Yes, and
It's like
another fun
looking at our
fact.
defense spending. It's like us and then everybody else.
Another fun fact, and I
That
am
goes for locking people
100%. You didn't know that we invest a lot more money to keep you or me behind bars in prison costs us a lot more money than what we spend on the education of a child per year. Figures hold true for both the UK and the US. I haven't checked for Germany or any other country, but literally that blew my mind. Combined with the fact that so many people are incarcerated in the US. So I mean, you're thinking your commons.
Well, people should listen closely, but I'll somehow still get words put into my mouth. Fuck it, here we go. Okay. Um, Prisons are a business. It employs tons of people. It's an industry. The privatization of the prison system was one of the most evil things that we've ever done to humans. You know, and we had slavery. Obviously, it's down the scale, but yeah, coming from a country that had slavery, the mass incarceration model is deplorable. I hate it. Uh, I've looked at other models from other countries. I've seen a lot better, and I've seen way, way worse. But basically, every like everything else in this country, it's about money. And right now, prisons are putting a lot of money in people's pockets, and those people vote. And those, the big wigs, they have special interest groups. Those small communities. Why do you always see these prisons in these little small communities? All the old prisons, like Rikers Island, it's in the middle of New York, because that's where it be. Because they didn't used to put that many people there. It wasn't a lifestyle to be a convict. It was a lifestyle to be a criminal. but it wasn't a lifestyle to just live in prison. Now it is. People have become institutionalized, and the prisons now they're so it's not so much so. It's actually less so on the East Coast and in the South than it is in California. In California, everything is race driven, and then it gets less and less as you come to the East Coast. Like in Florida, you'll have a white guy and a black guy in the same pod. Not always. It depends on the facility. It depends on how those two individuals feel, their crimes. But in California, you never have a mixed race pod. In Florida, you have mixed race pods all the time. But the demographics don't match up because you have basically African Americans are, I think, just a little under 20% of the population, but commit 50% of the crime. Those are statistics. Those are numbers. You can look them up.
We
Why are
can
those
discuss
numbers?
the reasons in another video.
Well, I will say, and this is Ask a American, and I might not look like it, but I'm pretty sure the systematic destruction of the black father and the black man as being part of the black family has a lot to do with that. So I'm not saying it's a free pass to, to slang dope, bang pistols and all that, but
I want to interrupt you here
I
because
do think it matters.
it absolutely does. And I just want to interrupt you here because there is a
You good?
person that has done a very very good video series about this, and that person is a YouTuber as well. And one of the first things I did when I came back to the UK, I actually thanked that person because he is one of the people responsible that I am still alive today. So, and I am talking about Larry Lawton, the jewel thief or former jewel thief, and he has a lot of things to say about the American prison system, which is what got me into looking into this. I'm in education. How much money do we spend on education? Shouldn't we spend more on education to keep kids out of prison? Yeah, and this kind of thing. He goes on about this about how screwed up the prison system is, and like you
Mhm.
said, it is designed to keep people in that system. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's designed to take
Well, I
economic
mean,
advantage of them.
is any business designed to lose its existing customers?
Absolutely not. And look at it
No,
from
your
this point
goal
of
is to
view.
keep every customer you get and then work on
And expand
attracting
your
new
customer
customers.
base. Yeah, and look at this from this point of view. What you said is making a lot of sense. There is a lot of economic and social reason that has been how do I say this imposed on the population in America, and unfortunately, it has hit the black population much more than the white population.
But what have
Yeah,
we been saying on this channel for so long? America, open for business. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If you want to
yeah.
find out why something's happening, follow the
Follow the
money.
money. No, this is really something. And just to round this up, Larry is a great advocate of community policing. Yeah,
I've heard things. I'm not an expert, but
please
I've heard things.
please, everybody, every viewer, look up Larry Lawton and all his podcasts. Great guy, has a lot of really great things to say. Read his book, really really great. And it also shows that even if the prison system is very very bad in the US, you can take a guy like a gangster like Larry, and he comes out an advocate for keeping kids out of prison by community policing and many other actions. Honorary police officer of sheriff or something in some county in Florida. Yeah. So if you are looking at the idea of why there is a justice system, yeah, again, follow the money. And just
And
want to
get
say that,
rid of mandatory minimums.
well, look at it. But that's another thing. I was just going to say,
I'm not,
but
I'm
that's
not, I'm
great.
not
That's a
pro
great.
mandatory minimum. I'm not at all. I'm not pro
So look at
mandatory
it from
minimum.
this point of view. In certain North German cities, when they were their own states, crimes against property were much, much harsher punished than crimes against, yeah, liberty of people,
Oh, I saw
essentially.
this. This is back when
Yeah,
the mercantile city states
yeah,
were forming all those alliances,
yeah,
preferably in North Germany, in what used to be called Prussia, right?
yeah. Not only Prussia, but North Germany, the coast. Yeah, and it's one of those cities.
Yeah,
So
in
and
south of Denmark, yeah. No,
yeah,
I actually watched a whole documentary on it was going from the HRE into basically they were calling it the Venice of Germany.
yeah, something.
Well,
Look,
because
and
it was on the border right next to Denmark, and it's on that coastline.
yeah. So literally, this is, and again, I think as an educator, if we aggravate the problems in the prison system, if we do not fix our problems in the education system, this goes hand in hand. It's the same bloody society. Yeah, and again, pushing an agenda and punishing people for trying to find solutions. Yeah, this is of another example. People that shout out loud about, oh, we have to have a debate, are the first ones to shut down every debate when the debate is not about exactly what they want to hear. And that is not helpful. Going back to why
Uh,
we are no longer the top. Yeah,
some of the loudest people speaking out against fascism have some of the most fascist beliefs I've ever seen.
exactly my
Because
point.
you're saying that people are being silenced, but yet you silence anyone who you don't deem worthy of a voice. Isn't that what you're against?
Exactly the point. You can tell people there you're talking bullshit. Yeah, and I do understand with the rise of social media, bullshit has a lot more audience. But the other thing I want to throw out here, and I had this conversation with someone, is let's just say you are from a small town, 500 people. Yeah, you know who the village idiot is,
Hmm.
right? So now all these
Everybody
little
knows
towns, and
everybody.
everybody knows who the village idiot is. Now you connect all these villages, all those cities, yeah, and you give all those village idiots a platform to talk their bullshit.
And
Yeah,
even worse, the worst part about it, you got it right there at the end, is they meet the other idiots.
exactly.
They
The
were
other thing,
supposed to stay in their town where everyone know.
exactly,
Don't
where the
breed with
damage is
them.
limited. Where
Yeah,
the
don't
damage is
breed.
limited.
Don't breed with them.
Yeah. So
Let that run its course,
point
man.
thing, the point I'm making is we are potentially overestimating the problem because the number of village idiots is not bigger. Yeah, they are just more vocal. They have found a platform, and like you said, other people that have the same kind of interest. Yeah. The other thing is, and this is actually confirmed by research. Yeah, this is confirmed by research. But the same research also found out that highly intelligent people, like academics, for example, create the same echo chambers for themselves. I don't want to see the evidence that this proves my theory.
No, my grandfather had two doctrines in sociology and anthropology. So that's where my academic background comes from. 'Cause my grandfather did hold two very high advanced degrees and spoke five languages. But he would talk about the basically the recussion chamber, just the recycling of the same ideas and how he
Yeah,
hated that about universities,
yeah,
you know. But he
yeah.
basically taught me, he's the one who taught me how to think more or less when it came to people. When you see people doing a certain thing, sociology, why are they doing it? Anthropology, why are they doing it together? Both. So that's where
Yeah.
the little background comes from. A little bit about me.
Yep.
Share a
And
moment with an American.
share. Well, I want to add something in terms of education to that. When I look at where do people in the universities screw it up for themselves, it's not big things. It's not big things. No, it is small things and really core questions. So, for example, there is a subject that almost every business student or management student has to do. So if you're going to a business school, you're coming across that subject in one form or another. And it's called organizational behavior. Basically talking about people, their behavior, and how it translates to the behavior at an organizational level. So,
So with that, look at the substances that academics like. They like uppers. Look at the college kids popping Adderall to cram for tests. Look at all the coffee that's consumed on college campuses and around it. You know what the difference is between a college drug addict and a blue collar drug addict?
the price they pay for their drugs.
That cocaine's not cheap. But we don't demand that our drug dens come with Wi-Fi. Because
Yep.
if you look at every single coffee shop in America, it's a drug den, and you won't go there unless it has Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Now, what I was looking at with that is, if you are not up to the task in that kind of subject, yeah, which is really foundational level of this is how stuff works from an
Right.
organizational perspective, yeah. Why are we letting kids, yeah, and they are kids, move on to different subjects, to a master's degree, yeah, to a doctorate, when they are not understanding the very fundamentals of human behavior, of logic and organization and management? Let's
If
really,
someone has to manage the sewer system, there's not a lot of people down there. We might have
not a lot
found
of people
a
that want to do
very,
it. Yeah.
very important task that is vital to a city's existence that guy could
Speaking
be
of
perfect
what,
for. Why are we shoving him this something that
look,
he's not good, just
we don't
forcing
have to go
this?
from one end to the other, but
Right.
just want to throw that out.
But you
I
can. That's my
saw,
point. You can do A to Z
look,
and all the
when
letters
you
in
say,
between.
okay, I can't do this, I need to go one step below that. I can't do that, I need to go one step lower, and so on and so forth.
But
And
see, there's the thing. There's the thing. We gotta stop calling it that. We gotta stop saying one step lower, because that
yeah,
means one step beneath.
yeah.
That is part of the
And
mentality that
in
I think we have to
to
change as far as our buzzwords.
contradict that, I saw a documentary ages ago, and exactly since you mentioned workers in the sewer, this guy was basically showing a camera team what he's doing. And yes, you swim through shit, yeah. At the end of the day, he said, well, after 2 weeks, you don't smell it anymore. Number one, and the other thing is, he is currently on a salary. There's only one position in the whole fucking county that is higher than his position, and he was at that time on 80,000 euros a year.
Right?
And looking at that 80,000, and if it's really the case, yeah, it's
Decent
not what
salary.
I would want to do. It's not that I would want or volunteer for swimming through shit, but hey, 80,000 euros is making up for quite a bit of
I
physical
do it.
work, and yeah, so
No, like literally, I would take that job for that pay if
yeah,
I was in charge of
and
a moderate sized municipality's sanitation system for
you
the
don't
US
know
dollar
how
equivalent of 80
much
euros.
these people are making. Wow. And not only sewerage worker. There is the trash man. Yeah. And funny enough, there is this running gag right now. Um, we tell kids in school to learn hard. Yeah. Or they become the trash man without telling them how much the trash man makes more than they will make.
Yeah, the trash man makes more than the
Yep.
teacher. And the reason why I
Yep.
don't like saying necessarily one step down is because I'll paint the picture. So the scenario is I'm on a deserted tropical island. So there's food there, but there's two people. There's me, the president of any country you want, call it the US, and then there's per se like someone who's a primal expert advisor. So every day during the week he took out trash, and on the weekends he taught primitive survival courses. Now you might say that trash man and the guy with the little camping hobby, his job is beneath the president's job. But if we're on that deserted island, I'll murder the president, have that guy cook a fire, and I will ask him how he would like his meat cooked after he starts that fire for me. I will cook him the president if I have to.
So this is
So is
really
it
a kind of
really?
priorities.
So
Yeah,
it's, but
and
that's
it's
my thing.
situation.
That's my thing. Everything's situational.
Exactly.
So the order, it's not the order of operations, it's the order of importance. The order of operations, mathematical, everyone, I'm sure you get the reference. That's set. Order of importance is position over rank. Your position is more important than your authority. Your position gives you the authority over the rank. So that's why I don't know. I never liked the it's one step down, because when I was a
Hmm.
laborer, people would say, "Oh, you're only one step up from being an operator." Okay, then I became a heavy equipment operator. I never called the laborers and said, "Hey, y'all guys are one step down from me on the totem pole." I would call them
Yeah.
over and I'd be like, "Hey guys, look, here's what we got to do. I'm gonna do everything I can with this heavy piece of equipment because I'm not gonna get tired just moving these levers. Y'all jump in if y'all see anything. Let me know, stop me, and when it's down to the shovels, we'll do the last little bit."
Yeah. And you see, this is the
It's
kind of
you need
thing.
it all.
Exactly. Exactly. So
But
yeah,
when
I
you tell
think
that kid, "Hey kid, you're not going to get your master's. Would you like a job that's one step below?" He's going to tell you, "Fuck you. I'm going to call Chairman P." Now, if you say, "Hey, this doesn't look like your avenue. Why don't we switch you to a different department and see if that would give you the opportunity to thrive and really gain some traction?"
looking at that, and it's a little story to round this up. Exactly that. I had a student in China that was doing a certain exam for quite a few times. Yeah, and he did not pass it. So I have to say at some stage when I during that time he took that exam and the results got worse and worse.
Ooh,
Yeah. So and I now this is really two sides of me where I say, are we as an education system or am I as an educator really doing that kid a favor? Take their money. I know he's not going to pass next time. Yeah. But I keep taking his money and let that student fail. I mean, what is that doing for that person's confidence level? Yeah,
well, you're doing nothing for them, and you're actually parasiting off of their
exactly.
hopes.
So literally one of
You're
the
you're
things
you're you're feeding on their failure.
exactly, and this is something I can't do. Yeah, so I was not the one to make the decision, but I was very clear in the decision board that we are not doing that person a favor, and I don't feel good about keeping that student on. Essentially, half a year later, or at the end of the semester, the student was basically told, "Well, if you fail this exam, you are out. Not out of this class, and you fail the class, you are out of your degree. Yeah, we send you home." So,
Well, that
and
seems disproportionate.
looked rather disproportionate. All right. Unfortunately, according to the regulations, he has to pass that. He has to pass that class.
What is it, a
Yeah.
prerequisite?
No, this is just how that degree works. So there's
Oh,
different ways how degrees work. Yeah. So for example,
America,
I
we have the
work.
prerequisite program where the first two
Yeah.
years you can basically just continue high school at the college level,
No.
and those 2 years get you an associate degree, and that gets you done with
No.
all of your learning so that you can start your specialization for your
Yeah.
second 2 years to get
No.
your bachelor's.
It really depends. Here, the universities are. Well, also in the US, it really depends. Yeah. So, for example, at this university, you had to pass every single class. End of the story. Then you get your bachelor's. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
So now I'm at a university. I can only speak for the master level, but let's say you have 8 modules and a dissertation. If you pass 7 modules, depending on how you pass them and how well, yeah, how happy the board, the president of the board on that decision day is, yeah, they're going to give you a pass for the remaining module, no matter how bad you are at it, unless you cheated or plagiarized or whatever in one of your modules. Then that option is off the table. Yeah,
Well,
but
then you
if you
broke
are,
the moral contract that you
yeah.
had with the
So
university.
let's just say you are crap in math, and unfortunately your degree has a math module. You pass everything with an A and fail math. 2 times, 3 times, whatever. You still have the option to get your master's degree. Yeah. And I wouldn't want to say which system is better. Yeah. There is merit in both systems. And I'm a great fan. I have to say that. I am a great fan of, let's call it Master in General Studies. Yeah. You have you select from a couple of classes, you
Mhm.
pass them, you get your master's degree, and you are a universal genius. Yeah, just for as a reference. I am always trying to, when I'm managing a class or a program, I always try to give the students choice. Yeah, the choice is yours, the consequences as well. So I can only give you options. I can only tell you, well, in my opinion, you should do this. You should not do that. Yeah. But at the other side of the equation is, let's just say, oh, going back to that student. Sorry, before I go off again. And the student was not very happy. Yeah, complained to everyone and anyone. Partly one of the large complaints was, I'm being mean. I had nothing to do with the decision except saying, look, this
They
is
didn't
how I
like what
see
you
it.
had to say.
Didn't like what he thought I had to say because he didn't know what I had to say. And just because I was not Chinese, the boy was Chinese, yeah. And I got an email just after we arrived here in the UK from that person, and I did not recall the situation, but emailing me, and he is now in Canada in the forest administration or something, and doing very very well.
Good.
So I don't want to say
There's nothing wrong with
more, and there's
working for the
nothing wrong
forestry
with that.
sector. We
Yeah,
don't
look,
have any
and he is
forests. We're
happy
not going to
about
have
it.
any oxygen.
He is happy about it. So
Yeah.
basically, what he said in that email, best thing that ever happened is that you had this conversation, and I was not able to complete my degree because I would still be trying to complete that degree. Yeah. So really, as you said, it's not a step down. Yes. So what we commonly say, we try to push people into academics into colleges and universities that don't that won't do well in that system, and at the end of the day they still get a degree and compete with you or me for the same job. And who is to say, okay, who is to say that they won't do good in the job actually? Yeah, that's one side, but the other side is that you have people that have a very good education. Yeah, no matter how good it is, they have the degree, that turn out and do something that is so far away from what they studied. Yeah, I don't think that is a very good thing for, yeah, morale of society.
No.
So we have the choice of telling young kids, no, you are not good at it. Yeah, or we have the choice of, well, children shouldn't have negative experiences. Because life won't give
Life
them
is
any
hard.
negative
You will
experience.
fail often.
Yeah. And look, I want to end with a quote from another person that said a couple of smart things, couple of dumb things, but life is hard. It's much harder if you're an idiot. Yeah. Not exactly these words, but I think something to think about when we talk about all the ways that society works. And we need to really, really take a hard look at, for example, why are we no longer the top in XYZ? There is a reason for that. Yeah.
Hmm?
And yeah, we need to have very unpleasant conversations, or we have to live with the situation that it is now.
Pass. And with that, that seems like a good place to leave it off for the day.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I wish. Well, I wish you at the other side of the pond a happy, happy afternoon with your wife, your family. Have a good one, my friend.
Enjoy your evening.
And we will see you all on the next video.